BookTube.
Hey, everybody.
Can I say it? I say it.
All right.
And welcome to our March Mystery Madness mid-month missive on multiple murders.
She had to say it.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So today we're going to talk. We're going to do say hi, Link. We're going to do just a short video on what we've read so far this month, what we loved and what we did not love, because there were a couple in each.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've only read 3, so yeah, I'm on my 4th.
I've read 6, but they are nowhere near as big as the ones that he read. Are you not enjoying yourself?
None of mine were all that big. They just they just took a while. One of them I got done really fast. The other 2 I did not.
Yeah,
because they were really kind of boring.
They weren't Agatha Christie, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's a huge difference in Agatha Christie and someone trying to be Agatha Christie.
Yeah, I had some trouble with my books that I've read so far too.
But not by someone trying to ape Agatha Christie, though.
No, that's true. But
Yeah.
I also found an absolute jewel that I can't wait to talk about. You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. No, you go first. You read a lot more books.
Well, I'm going to talk about these 5 in like a big lump.
Well, and actually, Becky created another, I can't think of what I'm trying to say.
I have no idea.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, you'll figure it
Another
out.
prompt for March Mystery Madness by reading 5 books of one series.
Oh, yeah. Well, one of the prompts for March... You're going to have to take him.
Okay.
One of the prompts for March Mystery Madness is read the 5th book in the series. And I have multiple books that are like the 5th book in the series, but I wasn't at the 5th book in the series. So I figured I have like the first 12 of this Susan Conant series, which are the Dog Lovers series. So I figure I'm just going to...
And we're dog lovers.
And we're... Can you tell? And I just figured I'll blast through these first 4 and read the 5th. The problem is there is no blasting through these. As I mentioned, they were published in the 90s.
Yeah.
So they're 30 years old. And I don't know if maybe it's just because they were published 30 years ago that they don't really jive with the idea of the cozy mystery. You know how there's a set hierarchy of things you have to have in a cozy mystery. These are not cozy. Not at all. They're barely mysteries. Honestly, a murder happens in each one of them, but usually in a murder mystery, usually in a murder mystery, or in a cozy mystery, the main character she turns sleuth. Well, or he. It's happened. Yep. She turns sleuth, and she goes to help solve the murder. In these books, a murder happens, and the murder usually gets solved sort of in the background while she goes off on a different dog-related mystery. On paper, that sounds really interesting, but these got really tedious. And there's also the fact that a couple of these have some really hard-hitting subjects. I think it's the 2nd book that deals with animal testing, like using animals as lab rats, especially dogs. And boy, that one stuck with me. And then the last one, this is Bloodlines. It talks about puppy mills. And she actually visits a puppy mill once. I'm going to have that imagery stuck in my head forever. So I did get through all 5, but I'm going to put these down for a little bit. I'll visit her again.
You actually didn't enjoy them much, though, right? I mean,
I enjoyed 2 out of the 5.
A slog, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed 2 out of the 5 of these, and she had developed a really bad habit in this last one of how she'll throw out a colloquialism or a dog training like technical term, and then she'll go on a long tangent about what that means. She'll say, "Have I lost you? Well, let me explain." And she'll go on a long tangent,
literally,
like two or three paragraphs. Yeah, I'm talking literally. And then she'll go on like 2 or 3 paragraphs explaining that has absolutely no bearing on the current activities, except that one little term that it's and she did it like 3 times and 2 pages at one point. I'm sitting there going, you need to get back to the storyline, sister. So I'm going to put this series down. I will revisit it because she's got like 30 books in this series. She's still working on this series.
Maybe it's better as it goes.
I hope springs eternal.
Yeah.
And I'm absolutely certain it just has to get better. So I'm going to put it down, and I'm going to come back to it. But I did get my 5th book in, and I did read 5 from one series. So hey, I figure that's a bonus.
Yep.
Come here to me and let Daddy talk about his books.
Okay. So the first book I'm going to talk about, I actually can't find, if that tells you how much I loved it, because I really didn't, and I wanted to so bad.
I'm going to put him down.
And it was The Daughter of Time by Josephine Tey. And I know the book has a lot of fans, and I haven't heard from very many detractors because, I mean, the book is huge. I think it's the best-selling mystery novel of all time, or something similar to that. And I just I was underwhelmed. Maybe it was because I didn't know anything at all about the subject matter, which is a woman trying to, actually, no, it was Josephine Tey trying to do it through her character, through her detective character, but it was her trying to say that King Richard III was not the monster he's portrayed to be.
Oh, that's a terrible idea.
But I mean, and it actually did change a lot of minds. I've had some people tell me through YouTube now that the book changed their mind about King Richard III.
Really?
Yeah, and considering I didn't know that much about it, I didn't really have a mind to change. But to me, it seemed like what was the movie Room 237? Is that what it was called? The one about The Shining, about these people coming up with all these crazy theories.
Yes.
And trying to say that Stanley Kubrick was trying to say all these crazy things, and one of the theories was about how man never landed on the moon and all this stuff. To me, it just seemed like a bunch of people trying to make things up to be dramatic. And that's what this book reminded me of.
Using superfluous things to prove something they really want to be true.
Yeah. I mean, going in with a... But again, I'm not sure Josephine Tey was actually trying to prove anything. Trying to prove a point. She was trying to tell a good story.
Is it historical or is it fiction all the way?
It is a fiction story about her... about a detective trying to say that King Richard III was not as big a monster as everyone thought.
We are talking about the guy who locked his 2 nephews in the tower.
And then killed them.
And then, let them die.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not a bad guy at all.
Yeah. But, I mean, nothing was proven to me. And like I said, I don't know that anything was trying to be proven, like literally proven. But it didn't change my mind about anything because I didn't have a mind to change. Maybe if I knew the story better before I went in, I would have loved the book. Unfortunately, I just didn't. So.
I'm sorry.
And that's all right.
That sucks.
Yeah. But the one I read after that, I loved. And this turned out to be one of my top 3 or 4 Agatha Christie books of all time, 5 Little Pigs. Mm-hmm. This thing is great. This is a really, really great book. I would say, I've read maybe 10 Agatha Christie books. This is right up there at the top with some of the better ones. At first, I didn't know what to think about the structure. Some of it was told in, some of the story was told in letters. Some of the story, and it was structured so that one person at a time was suspected. One person at a time was relieved of that suspicion. And it worked great. I mean, really great over time. But, I mean, so far that's the best book I've read this month. And now I'm reading this one right here. I just started this one, The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, and I'm loving that too. So anytime I want a great mystery, just go to Agatha Christie. Other people have tried, and nobody, in my opinion, beats Agatha Christie when it comes to country house murders.
Coincidentally, this is my next read.
Yeah.
It's the only one that we could find in our library that had 5 in the title.
But yeah, Five Little Pigs is amazing.
You know, I've never seen a picture of Agatha Christie before, but she looks exactly like I expected her to look.
Yeah, there she is as an older lady. She did live to be pretty old.
Yeah.
Yeah, died in 1976.
Huh.
So 1976.
I like it.
So you can go with your next one now.
I too found a gem this month. So I had this list of like 6, 8, 9 books I was going to read this month. And I actually planned to go straight to Five Little Pigs after the Susan Conant books. But who was it?
It was Rita.
Oh, it was Rita? Okay, so one of our friends, Rita, read this book first. Death in a Budapest Butterfly by Julia Buckley. And she was talking about how much she absolutely loved it. So I felt it was absolutely my duty to read this one next. And let me tell you, I'm so glad I did. This book is an absolute palate cleanser after Susan Conant. It's one of the best cozy mysteries I've read in a long time. Like a long time. A couple of years maybe? 3 or 4?
I don't know.
It is fantastic. It's fantastic. It has everything I want in a cozy mystery. It's got that romance. It's got some paranormal aspect. It's got some humor. It's got serious. It's got a good murder mystery. A surprisingly good murder mystery. I love everything about this book. And it's just the first one. It's the only one that's printed so far. I think the next one comes out in June.
I think so, yeah. June of this coming year. Hopefully in paperback and not in a $28 hardback.
Right. Well, Julia Buckley, she also has another series called the Writer's Apprentice series that I'm about to jump face first on. And they have
March Mystery Madness.
After March Mystery, well, if I have enough time after I finish my March Mystery Madness TBR. How about that? But they're all on Scribd. All of those are. So if you ever use the audiobook feature there,
well,
Buckley's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
there weren't any print books on there.
Yeah. But they're all the audiobooks, but still. I like a good audiobook. Yeah, Death in the Budapest Butterfly. Read it. It's fantastic. It's so good.
So the last one I finished so far, I have not read that many books because 2 of them just took me longer than I expected. I just didn't care for them that much. And another one I really wanted to love was Cover Her Face, which is the first book in this omnibus by P.D. James. Now, I know P.D. James has got to be a great author. I mean, she's been around. She was around forever, 50 years.
She's a well-lauded author.
For sure. I think this book was 1960 or 61, Cover Her Face. And this is the one that I thought, in a way, her main Doglish, her main protagonist was in a way trying to be another Poirot without the personality.
Without the charisma.
Yeah, without the charisma. Yeah, completely without charisma in the very first one. I'm sure these books get better. Because again, they went for a long time, 40, 50 years, something like that. There were 20 plus books in this series, and a lot of people read them. So I'm going to keep going with P.D. James, but this will be the last one for March Mystery Madness because it took me longer than I should have to get through it.
Maybe she was
it took me almost a week to get through it, and it's only 250 pages.
Oh, wow.
That's weird. for me.
Maybe she was just sort of feeling her way through.
Maybe.
It is the first novel.
Right. And
Or
I
you
am
can't really-
and I am expecting them to get better, but A Mind to Murder is the second one. I will read the first 3 books. I'll read every book that's in this this omnibus here.
Yeah, and especially if she was taking any cues at all from Agatha Christie.
Yeah.
She would have been feeling her way through the first. Maybe the second one is where he gets his charisma from, because he's a very well known protagonist.
Right.
Too.
Now there were some parts in this novel that were great, like really good. Very much, telling you what she saw, telling you what the protagonist saw when he walked into the murder scene. And it was a little more disturbing on that point than, say, an Agatha Christie book was. In Agatha Christie, you see a whole lot of sort of a cozy murder scene.
Oh, yeah.
You don't see...
You don't get the hard details.
You don't get the bruising around the neck told in detail and things like that.
I think that's because for Agatha Christie, that's not the point.
Oh, exactly.
The point is absolutely the investigation. It always is.
It is, and Agatha Christie writes an extremely great interview when she's interviewing her suspects.
She has a very special knack for dialogue.
Yeah, and P.D. James in this particular book, the interviews were just kind of boring. Yeah. And that's one of my favorite things about Agatha Christie is the way she writes interviews. The way all of her characters are different. She's very good about writing suspects.
Yeah.
And whereas I didn't think P.D. James was all that great with this one. She's okay. I mean, it was okay, just not what I'd hoped. But I am going to continue with P.D. James.
Did you read 5 Little Pigs before P.D. James?
Yes.
Oh, that was your first mistake.
Yeah, I know. I know. I should have finished the month with 3 Agatha Christie books, and I didn't do it.
Yeah, I'm tackling Agatha Christie next because it's going to take Dame Agatha Christie to beat the book I read last. Oh, I loved it so much. Oh,
Good.
Budapest Butterfly is a teacup, by the way, just in case you were wondering. Because I was wondering the first time I ever picked it up. I love it.
Well, I think that's about it. But next, The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, and then after that, I have one more Agatha Christie, which is something 4. It has the word 4 in it, but it is the 5th. But it is the 5th of the of the Poirot books, and I don't remember what I have after that. Oh yeah, I do. I have a Dashiell Hammett book.
I think I'm going to read Here Today, Gone to Molly next.
Okay.
That's so
Did
funny.
you only pick one Agatha Christie this month?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I have one sort of waiting in the wings. It's the Murder on the Links, because another one of our YouTubers.
Yeah.
Another one of our subscribers actually suggested that one too. So if I have time after I finish all of my other 15 or 18 books,
Yeah.
I'll read that one too, which I probably will. I've already read 6.
Yeah, I've only read 3.
And 3
I'm
of those
very
I
disappointed
fought
in that.
my way through.
Yeah.
Well, again, we sort of fought our way through the first books we read this month.
Yeah.
And that is never conducive to actually getting it done.
Yeah.
Because like the whole time I'm sitting there going, when's this going to end? Oh.
Yeah, but you made it through.
I did.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, I guess we're done.
Yeah, we'll see you again soon. There's something I'm supposed to do. Your books are calling. Go read.